evening, everyone, and welcome to the Locker Room Podcast. I'm Darren Natil, and it's Black History Month all over the world. But tonight, I have some guests. I've known them all my life, right here from Daytona Beach, and I'm going to introduce them. First of all, I got Miss Cynthia Slater. Say hello to the people. Cynthia Slater.
Hello, everybody.
And I got the Dr. Booker T. Dab Williams. Dab, say hello to the folks.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. It's Black History Month. 29 days this year, not 28. 29 days.
You know,
we got an extra day to chat on it.
I had on a shirt today, and we had our kids out today, and it had Black History Month, and the month was scratched out, and it had Black History, period.
Okay.
Period. That's all.
Okay. I like that. Tell the folks a little bit about who you are and what you do and whatever, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm Cynthia Slater. I'm lifelong resident of Daytona Beach. All my life, I've been in the fight for rights of others who cannot speak for themselves. Whether I realized that I was doing it or not, I waited until I got much older to realize that I've been doing it all my life. And so I'm the president of the NAACP here in Daytona Beach. Been the president for 24 years.
Wow.
That's retirement. That's retirement.
24 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I kind of know you from being a little Wildcat cheerleader, you know, leads and cheers and playing a little softball.
Yeah.
You are in the locker room now, so let's talk about a little athletics.
I cheer for Dab.
You cheer with Dab on that team that was on. Booker T, tell the folks a little bit about you and what you do and what you've done and where you've been.
Ooh, Lord. Listen, I'm a born and raised Daytonian. People don't realize my nickname is Daytona. Dab is the acronym for Daytona Beach. If you go to the airport, you'll see it there. But anyway, grew up in Daytona at the mainland, played ball at mainland. Let me thank Cynthia first. Miss Slater, thank you for all you've done for this city, baby.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
I stand on shoulders, some giant shoulders, so I appreciate it.
No, but you deserve it. And we played ball at Cookman's, cheered, and we had if I could live over again, I think that would be one thing I would ask the Lord to let me do. Go back to Cookman for them 4 more years.
Those days,
we had so much fun.
Those road trips,
and playing for the Wildcats. I think out of all the accomplishments I might have had, I think that was that rates number one with me. And I love Daytona. I've served in the military, Marine Corps for 3 years. Went to Bethune, went to St. Thomas University in Miami, got a master's, went to Nova and got my doctorate. And I didn't go to get the doctor to be a show off. I just thought it was something that if I'm going to do it, I wanted to go to the highest level. So then they was giving Hispanic teachers little breaks in Miami at the time. So I jumped on that. So, and I've written several books on racism. I'm like Sin. I'm an activist for our people.
It's going to be on tonight.
And my biggest issue right now is gun violence. I've been to Tallahassee to sit on a meeting with that. So we'll talk about that later.
You know what? I can remember the first time I ever saw you and played ball with you. It was on Volusia Avenue Field. And there was another guy by the name of Denzel Washington, the actor Denzel Washington. And the big boys were playing tackle football. And I went out and played tackle football with the big boys. That's the first time I think I met you, playing with Denzel.
Look, when you said Volusia Avenue, you better tell people where Volusia Avenue.
Oh, Volusia Avenue is where the Pack Center is now, and the field where the football team used to play, where that grass field, that was Volusia Avenue Elementary Field. Where the Pack Center is now was Volusia Elementary. We got another guest just joining us on the road trying to get home, Mr. Rick Scott. Rick, talk to the folks a little bit. Tell them about what you do.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up,
I'm sorry, I
what's up,
apologize.
Reverend?
Huh?
What's up, Reverend?
Hey, I apologize, man. I'm in my car. I just came back from Jasper, Florida. I had to go to a funeral,
Uh-huh.
and I was trying to make it back home, but I'm about 10 minutes away from home, so I just pulled over, man, and came in.
All right, make sure you're in a lit area now, because we got NAACP president on here. Get y'all, you ain't in Daytona, so you can't
And look, and
get no help.
I can come through this. I can come through this wall too.
Okay.
I'm in a Walmart parking lot, so I'm
good.
You
good till 12 o'clock. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw out a slogan and tell me what it means to you. Black history. Sent. What does Black history mean to you?
Us. One word. Us. Black people. Black people.
Whoa.
Black history. What that mean to you?
That's a good question. I got to piggyback off of Sent. It's about us, Black people.
Yeah.
It's an untold story.
Absolutely.
Rick Scott.
Black history to me means American history. Because really, there's no distinction between Black history and American history. It's just that Black history hasn't been told. That's why we have to use that term, Black history, because basically it's just American history. And that story has not been told yet. That's why we're here. We got to make sure we get that story out there.
Let's talk about a little bit of history of our hometown growing up. There were some prominent people, prominent places. I can remember one place where we all met to eat, Wimpy's.
right down the street, 62 cents chicken boxes.
Yes, sir.
Chicken box was like $5, wasn't it? $5.50 with some hush puppies.
Hey, that's an iconic Daytona spot right there. Everybody knows Wimpy's.
That's right.
I can remember watching Miss Slater play softball at Kelly Field, which is where Jackie Robinson and all the Negro Leaguers played.
Yeah. I was quite a sprinter too. I mean, even when I played for the girls' league, there was a girls' league, there was a boys' league, there was a men's league, and there was a women's league. And as a child, when I played for the girls' league, the women's league wanted some of the younger girls to play with them, not really play with them, but run for them, because they hit the ball and we just run the bases for them. And so I was pretty fast. I'm gonna say I might have been probably the fastest sprinter in.
Yeah, you could run. Yeah, you could put them up and put them down. What about this word, Bethune Beach?
I'm gonna let Dab talk about
Bethune. Why we have Bethune Beach, Dab?
Once, because we couldn't go over to the White Beach. We couldn't go across the river to go. We had to go down to Bethune Beach in New Smyrna. You was probably too young. You wouldn't know nothing about that.
I remember going once.
Well, that's every Saturday and Sunday we went down to New Smyrna.
That's right.
I've only been once. I was too small. Yeah.
And there was a lot of sand. I can remember the sand spurs. That was, that soft sand, that sandy sand that was on Bethune Beach. And I always used to wonder as a kid, because we couldn't go on the beach in Daytona, we had to go to the beach in New Smyrna. Why they would always say that we couldn't swim in Daytona, but it's the same water.
Actually, it's rougher water.
It's rougher water. You're right.
Exactly. Rougher water. That's what it was. Yeah, you had to learn how to. You had to know how to swim down there.
Yeah. It was crazy.
That was before my time. I'm not really familiar with Bethune Beach.
Oh, well,
I got one for you, Rick. I got one for you. The Ritz Theater.
On 2nd Avenue. That was our theater. Because I know we used to get cards from school. We can get in the movie for a nickel with that card.
Right.
And that's where we got to see our first little black people up there on the screen, you know. So back then, the Ritz Theater, because we couldn't go downtown to that movie theater down there, as far as I know. But here's the thing too, Nat. When we say the Ritz Theater, it brings to mind that we had everything we needed in our community. When I say we couldn't go to the movie theater downtown, personally, I don't know that, because it never crossed my mind to want to go down there, because everything that we had in our community. We had the movie theaters. Like we said, Wimp was talking before, the ballparks. And Wimp, I didn't know you were the first designated runner. Back then. That position hadn't even been created yet. You're a designated runner. Congratulations. But we had our swimming pool. We had everything in our community, our barbershops, churches. We had everything we needed right there in our community. So I don't know so much as if we couldn't go downtown to the theater down there, or if we just didn't have to go or didn't want to go to that theater.
We couldn't go.
We couldn't.
I think I'm the oldest on the panel. Yeah. We couldn't go.
Yeah, we couldn't.
Oh, okay. But it was not really a necessity for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Dale, since you're the oldest, when did you experience what you wrote about?
Wow. My first experience, my aunt, if you guys remember, there used to be a white family in Daytona. When most of us girls, and they all had red hair. And the dad used to sell peanuts. Make a long story short, they lived right behind my aunt. I lived on El Dorado with my aunt. They lived on Magnolia, right behind my aunt. When they came outside to play, my aunt would make me come in the house. And I asked her why, and then she showed me the picture of Emmett Till. I think I was maybe 9, 10 years old when she told me. She said, I don't want this to happen to you, so I'm not going to let you be outside while they're outside. So that was my first experience with dealing with race issues. And I've been.
When was your first time?
Say again?
I'm talking.
Wait, let me ask you.
Oh, go ahead. Wait, Rick.
Did she show you the picture in the coffin?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, his mom made it a necessity that they left that image that way so she could show everybody what they did to her son.
Right.
She wanted them. They didn't want to open the casket, but she said, "No, we're going to let everybody see what they've done to my son."
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, you said you had 24 years in the NAACP. I remember being in the youth NAACP with Mr. Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I met Dexter King. He just recently passed 3 weeks ago. I met Dexter King at a conference one time. Mm-hmm. And I learned so much about what NAACP was about. So when was your first adventure into realizing you was colored?
Let me share with you. So I'm the youngest of 7 children, and back in the early 60s, there was no such thing as daycare. Your older sisters and brothers was your daycare. That's who kept you. And so by me being the youngest in the summertime, I would have to go, because they kept me, I had to go wherever they went. And I can remember I may have been 7, 8, or 9 or something like that. And Dad, you may have been a part of this and me not knowing that you were a part of this. Steak and Shake was always on International Speedway, on Volusia Avenue. I'll say Volusia Avenue. But it was on the other side of the street. And it was a little further down, kind of where the Crab Stop is, somewhere over in that area where Steak and Shake used to be. And so I can remember my older sisters and brothers and their friends wanted to integrate Steak and Shake, because at the time, black folk couldn't go. We had to go in the back of Steak and Shake. And remember, Steak and Shake was a drive-in. Steak and Shake had a drive-in, so we basically couldn't even do the drive-in. If you wanted to order something from Steak and Shake, you had to go to the back. And I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I can remember going to Steak and Shake with my sisters and brothers and their friends, which was probably about 10 years older than 8 to 10 years older than me, trying to integrate Steak and Shake. And I was like 8 or 9 years old. I didn't know what was going on at the time until, later on they told me, and I kind of realized what was happening. But I can remember that very distinctly, as if it was yesterday, that I was with my sister and brothers and older sister, their friends, that tried to integrate Steak and Shake.
And that was, Rick, you and I the same age, so we experienced some of the same things. Tell us about yours, Rick.
Well, my first experience with not being included, I'll say, is when you played Little League Baseball at City Island, because we started out at Kelly Field, right? And you started playing at City Island, and I wanted to play down there because me and you were best friends, and I wanted to come down there and play. And I remember going down there with you to sign up to play at City Island, and they told me it was too late, that the registration was closed. But there were white kids that came after me that wanted to sign up, and they signed them up. So I'm thinking there has to be something to it. I knew you were playing, so I know it wasn't that we couldn't play, but I didn't know if it was just a quota or something that they had, or if they just didn't want to sign me up that particular day. But I felt like, and I wasn't old enough to make a big deal out of it, I'll say. But I thought about that's not right, that they signed these white kids up to play and they wouldn't let me sign up. So I went back to Kelly Field and I said, I'm home. I don't have to go down there and sign up with the IBEW down there, Cunningham Oil, or those teams that they had. I go out here and play with the red and white, the blue and gray, the green and white, the pinstripes. That's my team, and I felt comfortable, but I just felt like they didn't want me down there. So I went where I was wanted,
NAACP. Cynthia, what does that mean?
The NAACP is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And people ask the question, well, why do you continue to say colored people? Because in 1909, that's what they called people. People were colored. We have been black, colored, niggas, Negroes, African American. We're the only race that had about 5 or 6 different names. So the NAACP, we were founded in 1909, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, by W.E.B. Du Bois, and actually a group of white liberal leaders who didn't believe in lynching. Was founded on the birthday of Abraham Lincoln, and that's why we celebrate NAACP on February 12th because of Abraham Lincoln's birthday.
Right.
What are some of the things you do? Go ahead, Rick.
Do you know why we've changed our name so many times? Because like you just said, at that time we were colored. Now, when Carter Woodson, when he started the Negro History Week, at that time, when it first started, it was a week. Mm-hmm. So it was Negro History Week. Mm-hmm. You said we were colored, NAACP. We've been black, because what we're talking about now is Black history. And we've also been African Americans, like you said. And the reason for that is, first of all, we didn't choose any of those names.
Oh, no, absolutely not. We didn't.
Those were chosen for us because when they first started doing what they call the census, they counted us every 10 years. And in order to count us, they had to give us a label as to what we were going to be called. So when they started coming up with this census, they decided what they were going to call us. Because we didn't get to choose. We are the only race of people who don't even get to choose what we're called as a race.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to choose for us, and it still happens. Like I always wonder, why are we African Americans now? You know, who picked that name? The census people. And they're saying for the census, the reason they split us up like that is because they want to figure out the districts. That's how they come up with the districts. And once they label us, they count and say how many are in the district, and then they'll know how to set it up, basically, so they can win, basically. And the thing about it is, once they set it up like that,
they call that gerrymandering.
Exactly. And they're supposedly, because people were telling me, well, they do that because they might want to send some funding to that community. I have yet to see that. Maybe I missed it because I'm not into, politics like that, but I've yet to see money that was funneled into our community based on the census. And has any of you ever been counted? Has anybody ever come to your door and counted you for the census?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't. Nobody's ever come to me and counted me as far as the census goes.
Well, not only in the past that people come to your door for the census, but now they started sending the information through the mail, and you fill out the census form. I worked for the census probably 30 years ago. 30, 40 years ago. But now the census comes through the mail, and the reason people don't respond to we don't respond to the census as we should. If it comes in the mail, you just don't answer it. If people come to the door, they don't answer the door. They do count us. Census dollars, community dollars do come from the census, and Deb, you probably know a little bit more about this too. And a lot of those dollars are supposed to come to our communities, but it never gets there. And it's happening. It happens today. It happens all the time. It's happening now.
Dab, you wrote
Absolutely.
a book. You wrote a book, The Ugly Color of Racism. I think that's the name of it, right? Show it to us.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say?
The Ugly Color of Race in America continues. This is my second book on it. Mm-hmm. This is the second one I wrote. And Ms. Slade, I hope you don't mind, but I did give you a shout out in it, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Can I get my 10%?
I had to say that. It's in the book.
Talk to us briefly about what made you write that, or what you wrote in the first one.
Well, the first one I talked about how all this kind of started. I gave a little history. I tried to educate. I'm a teacher. I taught school for 27 years, so I guess it's kind of in my DNA. And I just wanted to share with some things Black people don't hear or hadn't heard. And, the mindset that we're in right now, we still kind of know slave mindsets because we still are pitted against each other. Mm-hmm. That's how they control slaves. They pitted them against each other. So I kind of told that story, and I kind of told about what I just told you guys about before is Emmett Till and some of the things I experienced as a young kid. I you guys don't remember Tyrone Ross. I know y'all remember. Y'all might not remember Tyrone Ross, but Tyrone was.
I remember
all us hung out together, and
yeah,
I think it was Martin Luther King when he got killed. We called ourselves protesting, and we were going around sitting a service station on Volusia Avenue at the time. Tyrone was up there, and a white guy shot him. And shot him in the stomach, but he didn't die from it or hurt him, nothing like that. But y'all might know Dennis Seals. Dennis Seals is very vocal as well about race relationships. He's very intelligent, articulate about it. But it's just I put that kind of stuff in my book and some other kind of things. Like, people don't know how white people came about. It wasn't always white people. They were Europeans, and then after what was called the Bacon Rebellion, which was the first insurrection of the United States against the British, black indentured servers and white indentured servers fought against the colonists, the British colonists, and they got together and decided that we need to do something about this so this don't happen again. So white indentured servers got privileges that black indentured servers didn't get. They got to vote. They got to be on juries. They just got certain privileges that the blacks didn't get. And they said that black people would be slaves forever in perpetuity. And so I put that in the book, just to try to educate people a little bit about how things started. And then people asked me to write a second version of it, and that's what I did.
If we fast forward till today, through all that time, Cynthia, what opposition do you receive, or what help do you get as being in the AACP with other nationalities?
Well, I can remember that. I'm going to give you an example. During Black College Reunion, we all remember Black College Reunion. It was 20 years ago, but it was, it's still fresh in our mind. We used to get phone calls threatening us because we fought for our college students, our Black college students, to come to Daytona Beach. They had a
Wi-Fi going.
It froze up. Hey, Dab.
Yes, sir.
When you were talking about, that we're turning against each other and being pitted against each other, that kind of similar to like the Willie Lynch syndrome?
Exactly. And
did you touch on that in your book?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, do you touch on that in your book?
Yes, I do.
Cent, go out and come back in, Cent. Go out and come back in. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, I talk about it because, people said it wasn't, it wasn't true, this and that. But my thing is, if you really sit back and look at it, and it's true. I mean, you see it in everyday life. We still hate each other. I give them a good example. I use Daryl as an example. Since they're trying to do good things in the community, you still have people that will say negative stuff rather than try to promote the good they're doing. Any little, we still do that kind of little childish, we still have those slave mindsets, and, he think he this or she thinks she that. I know, some of us get that all the time.
Yeah.
Since you good?
Yeah, she back.
Okay. So, I just
can't hear. Hold up. Go back out and hit on that audio button, then come back in again. Go out, hit on your audio button. Go back out and redo everything. Right. Okay, go ahead, guys.
So I just think we're still stuck. What you think? What y'all think? Because that still goes on in society, man. Look what they're trying to do to Fannie. Well, these are white folks, but you got black people that come on and say negative stuff about she was looking ghetto and she did this and that. The lady was angry. She was upset. Here I am, you dragging me in court about my personal life. My personal life ain't got nothing. She could sleep with the devil. That's her business.
All right.
But you got black people that's putting her down because she came in court. She was the lady. I thought she had a legitimate reason for being upset, but you got people that would put her down, and we still do that kind of stuff to each other.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that? What's your thought on that, son?
She stood her ground.
Exactly. But you got people that's putting her down for standing her ground.
She stood her ground because if she was a white woman, first of all, she wouldn't have been up there on that. They wouldn't have been questioning her like that. They tried to. It was all about humiliating her, and Wade and whoever else they could humiliate. But you got an ex-president who has 91 felony charges, but you want him to be the president.
The hypocrisy. That's all that's in here. This was way before he, before this, I don't know. God gave me a vision or what, man. But I was talking about that way before he got to be president. But then when he did get to be, that's when I put a lot of that in here. This man is the biggest hypocrite on the planet.
He's beyond.
But the reason why he's so powerful, guys, is because they say he hate who they hate, and guess who they hate? Us. That's it in a nutshell. The whole nut. That's it in a nutshell, y'all. It's racism.
But you're right.
It is. That's all it is.
You're right, Dad. Like I said, when we talk about the Willie Lynch syndrome, how you said we're holding each other back. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemies.
Most
like you said, when Fannie Willis went on there, and she went on there, like you said, she was defiant, but she didn't back down. Which they wanted her to do. But sometimes we have a habit of putting each other down. Remember Gabby Douglas when she was in the Olympics winning gold medals? The only thing we wanted to talk about was her hair. How her hair looked. I don't give a damn if she was bald headed. That woman was breaking barriers for us.
All over the place.
Exactly. And we're worried about her hair.
Yeah.
We can be our own worst enemies sometimes.
But that's learned behavior, Rick. That's learned behavior.
Exactly. Well, that's why I think we're trying to change that mindset. I know I am down here in Brevard County. We're trying to change that mindset, and it's not always about what somebody has or what somebody doesn't have all the time. And it's not what they can do for you, all the time. We're supposed to be in this thing working together.
Or who's leading or who's following. I tell people all the time, just because I'm the president of the NAACP, I don't have to lead all the time. I will follow, but I need to know where you're going.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not just gonna follow anybody. So yeah, it's the mentality of us, and if we don't do better, Lord have mercy on us.
But see,
and they don't have to do anything. They can sit back and just watch it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dad.
I'm just glad that we're doing this type of thing now, because we need to do this on a larger scale. We need to have an open round table session every week and month of the year, talking about our situation, what we can do and can't do. We can talk all day, but if we don't do nothing, we just talking.
I'm telling you.
And that's how I feel about the gun violence thing. We can talk about guns all day, but if we don't change the laws, we're just talking. We're just spinning our wheels.
That's right.
But like you said, Rick, it's a mindset. We've been indoctrinated to not hate each other, but be jealous and envious of each other. And it still goes on today. We're talking about something 400 years.
And a lot of times it's people who have more than you. You got more than me, but you still, why are you hating on me?
Yeah.
You know,
they hate to see you be successful. They know that you're good at what you do, and they're gonna try to throw rocks and bricks at you. Look, baby, that's it, man. You're a target all the time.
Yeah,
you got black and white.
That
nigga thinks you're black, same thing. Excuse me for using that language, but I can't sugarcoat stuff.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. And that's why we need to. I mean, I read my history all the time. I do a Black History moment during Black History Month. Next month is Women's History. If we don't read, what is this little saying about the way that you can get a Black person to not get anywhere is put it in a book.
Exactly.
You can go on Facebook and people can look at a picture and they have 1,000 likes, but you put something educational on Facebook, you might get 2.
That's true.
You get 2 comments.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is really sad how we see ourselves and how we refuse to learn about our history.
We're the greatest. We're the greatest people on this planet.
Yeah,
I just have to say that everything started with the black man. Everything, white folks, everybody, but we've been taught over 400 years, a long time to condition somebody.
Yeah,
and we've been only out of the civil rights movement 50 years, 60 years maybe. So you're talking about 60 years versus 400 years. So that's almost impossible to do in that length of time. Maybe one day. Yeah. One day that'll change, but right now we still babies in this thing.
Yeah. When people when you hear the story about when they don't want to, they think that reparation for us is giving us money. That's not what reparation is all about. But here's the thing: when the slaves were freed, you know who they paid? You know who got reparation?
White folks.
Slave owners.
Slave owners.
For freeing us.
Yeah.
For freeing our people.
For losing their property.
Yes. And we're around here hating on each other.
So, Rick, you have the opportunity to go against the grain. I heard snippets on Facebook. I'm gonna give you a few minutes to kind of tell us what you're digging into. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing, man.
Well, down here in Brevard County, we started, like, when our governor first came out with this idea that he wasn't going to allow us to teach our history in the schools. At first, I kind of got upset about it, but then I thought about it. Why should I get upset? What are you going to do about it? So I said, I'm not going to agonize over it. I'm going to organize. So I was like, and I thought it was better if we taught our history anyways, because if they teach it, they're going to whitewash it. Because he's already trying to say we benefited from slavery. Is that what we want them teaching in our schools? That benefited from slavery? Nope. So what he tried to do, he tried to put water on our movement. But what he didn't know, he put gasoline on it. Because everybody now, in their own little way, is starting to teach our history. And then down here, we started, it's been a year now that we've been teaching history classes, and it far exceeded my expectations. I wanted to go in and teach the civil rights movement. I wanted to go in and teach about our inventors and stuff like that. But we had two people who are scholars, historical scholars. They took us back past Africa. They took us back all the way to the Moors. I don't know if have ever heard about the Moors, but they were really the first Black civilization. They had everything there. Land, they had wealth, they had a surplus of minerals and oils and everything. But guess what happened? As usually does happen, it was taken from them. Mm-hmm. So our history didn't just begin in Africa. So there are a lot of things that I learned that I did not know, that I'm now trying to transition to our young people. And when I was talking to Wimp earlier, it just baffled me that I was thinking, why are we called so many different names? Why every 3 or 4 years or however long it is, we get a name change that we don't even get to pick. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of stuff that kind of stuck with me. And what I'm trying to do, like I said, down here, is teach our kids and adults, because the adults don't know it either. And the adults can't teach the kids if they don't know it. So we have a mixture of young people and adults that come to our classes. And the only thing I tell them is make sure you share this information, because it does no good for us to get this information, to disseminate this information, if it's just going to stay with you. Share the information. And I think we're making big strides on. And we're not done. We're not done, because I have something else that I'm working on right now that I want to further this that we're doing. And this is just the beginning for us down here. And I know I had talked to Wimp and Pastor Smith when we first started doing this down here in Brevard County, because we wanted to do the same thing in Volusia County. And I got with Wimp and Pastor Smith. And then I think that was around the same time when your house got flooded. Yeah. So we kind of put everything, mm-hmm. on the back burner, but I would still like to do something in Volusia County as well. And I got a donation from somebody. They found out about the classes we were doing. They sent me money in the mail. They got my address, and I wish she wouldn't have done it, but my the secretary at my church. She gave them my address, and they sent me a check for some money. And that's what we weren't, requesting or asking anybody for any money or anything like that. So what I did, I just donated that money to my church. And I got a phone call from a pastor in Jacksonville who wants to do something up there. So it's beginning to roll. We're beginning to get a little movement here. But I appreciate you, Darryl, giving us this opportunity, because to come on here and let everybody know that there's a movement going on, and we want everybody to get on board.
Cynthia, is there anything that you can do or that you need help doing to further what you do?
We always need help. I mean, I tell people all the time, we can't do this by ourselves. We have fraternities, sororities, grassroots organizations. We, just kind of piggybacking on what was just being said. We, what Rick just talked about. We've created a Freedom Library at my church at Allen Chapel. We were given lots of books that have been banned throughout the state, and we kind of gave some of the books out to other organizations. But we took those books and started creating a Freedom Library at my church. And as Rick said, if they don't want to teach our kids, if they want to teach our kids a lie, then we need to teach them the truth. Because
she froze again.
The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. The devil is a liar. Go ahead, Sam.
I grew up segregated, going to segregated schools through 7th grade, and we had to learn Lift Every Voice and Sing. We knew who Carter G. Woodson was. I mean, it wasn't just Mary McLeod Bethune. We knew Black history, and once schools became integrated, that's when all of the learning and teaching of Black history and Black inventions and discoveries, it just kind of stopped. And so I don't think integration was the best thing for us, because it stopped a lot of things that we learned about values in our Black schools. And once they took that away from us, it just kind of fell through the cracks. But as far as what the NAACP can do or need the help that we need help in every area of, especially civic engagement, voter education, voter registration, getting people out to vote, and voter protection. Because let me tell you, this election right here is going to be one for the books.
I agree.
And if we don't get our people educated, and to let them know that they need to get out the vote, we're in trouble.
Okay, Dab, you got 2 books. You got a lot of information. Is there anything that you're doing that people can piggyback on or tag in with you?
My biggest thing right now, like I told you guys earlier, is the gun violence thing. And I joined this movement right here. It's called Mom Demands Action for Gun Sense in America. And I got to meet the father of the young man that was killed up in Jacksonville for his music being too loud. And this man broke down and cried, man, and it touched me. You guys know I lost my nephew to gun violence right here in Daytona. And so, that's a big issue with me. And I just, being a veteran and a machine gun in the Marine Corps, I know we don't need that on the streets of no city in America. So I think that's something that we really need to, as a nation, as a city, as a whatever, to really fight against. But like they told us when we were in Tallahassee, that the Republican Party outnumbers the Democratic Party. So we need more people to get in these positions as district representatives. I wish Cent would run for, baby, we need you in Tallahassee. I know we all get paid, but we need
y'all
black
have a lot of bond money.
I know, but I'm just saying that was one of their big issues when they talked to us, that they need help in that area to get people put in these seats. So we always vote for the president. We forget about them down ballots. The mayor, the commissioner, whoever's over the district and all that. Those are important positions, and we just don't the president. But I'm trying to help these people with this gun violence issue, and I hope I can get people to come on board with that. I'm trying to start something in Daytona. I know Sent has been with Mr. Grimes. They've done a lot of stuff to try to bring this to the city's forefront, but like I said earlier, I love it, but we can have round table meetings and talk.
Let's do
but
that.
Until somebody do something, a law get changed. Well, a kid can walk around with an 18 can walk around with a pistol on their side.
Yeah,
that's okay. Come on, that's crazy.
That's part of the. That's that's a bill that's about to be passed right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're lowering the age to 18, and you're right, Dab, that there's a super majority in Tallahassee, in the state legislature, and whatever y'all's governor want passed, it's going to be passed. I was in Tallahassee February the 7th for the when they introduced the Harry T. and Harriet V. Moore Voter Rights Act bill, and it's not going to pass because there's too many good things, small d democratic pieces in that bill, and those folk up there in Tallahassee, they're not gonna pass that bill, and so you're right. If we don't vote, we can just cancel everything else out. Cancel.
Okay,
because we can sit here and talk all day long. And
okay, you said next month is Women's Month.
Women's History Month.
Women's History Month. Okay, I want you to find some guests, and we're gonna open a locker room up on the girls' side.
Okay.
The girls' side of the locker room.
Can I ask you a quick question? Did you see the post I did with how they weighed black women doing slavery? Women by the pound.
Yeah.
I saw that. That was amazing, man. Yeah. Really discuss that with your ladies. They, you see women on Facebook twerking and whatever, big this, big that. But they used to weigh women and sold women by the pound after they got to physically examine them in all kind of grotesque ways, and then put them on a scale and weighed them, man, and sold them. And children, black children, were always for sale, man.
I don't know what God doing with me, because yesterday I got an invite. Probably seen it on Facebook. I'll be speaking Tuesday to a group out of Miami called Stand Women Stand. It's 700 women attached to this, and the young lady who originated used to be married to Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah would be on too. So Tuesday,
what you say? She
used to be married.
She used to what? There?
She used to be married to Oprah Winfrey.
She used to be married.
To Oprah's brother.
You had a headline. You had a headline going on there, brother.
My mind going too fast. I'm thinking about some stuff. I'm thinking about trying to connect sent to some people. But she used to be married to Oprah's brother.
Hey, somebody gonna screenshot that and they're gonna put that out there.
No. We ain't getting that technical on this. But I want to do whatever I can do to help Sent. Next month. You let me know what you want to do. They can come in the locker room and we can do this, and we can put it out. Rick, I know you got some more things you're planning, and Dad also. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of movement. I'll be 66 in 10 days, and I find myself going down alleys I never thought I'd go down. But I'm open to helping wherever I can. Rick, you brought me down one time to do some stuff with the kids. I'm open to doing that. Dad, I'm open to get your thing out about the gun violence out, and Sent whatever you need me to do. You let me know. But we out of time, but we definitely not out of word. You've been watching the locker room. We'll see you the next time. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
At all.
Good job. Enjoyed it.